God. I saw Chozo come by. Chozo, if you're still around or if you are going to bed, thanks for stopping by. I'll have to see you around later. I see the kitty. Hello, the kitty. And anyone else who's stopping by today. As you can see, I am static because something broke while I was setting up. Also, for anyone who doesn't already know who I am, I'm Calico Pascal, Sea Otter VTuber, streaming to you live from the Float Harbor Aquarium, except, yeah, my everything's falling apart. Literally, like, okay, I'm not even joking, 10 minutes before stream, or prior to 10 minutes before stream, I was like, I need to make sure that my my camera, it can connect to the computer. And so everything was working fine and dandy, and then I was like, let me adjust some things around on my desk a little bit, and then I did that, and of course everything stopped working, and I was like, what do I do? I don't, it was like, there's 10 minutes before, or like less than 5 minutes before stream starts. I don't want to try resetting my computer. But the funny thing is, also, like, as I'm trying to figure out this camera issue, my monitor also, like, flashed, like, it turned off for like a split second. It was just black, and I was like, are we gonna be okay with this stream today? Please, PC. And the crazy thing too, so on Tuesday, when I did the karaoke stream, you know, everything was fine and dandy. I ended stream, and I started getting some connection issues, like my USB, like, if you have a PC, I'm sure you know, you plug something into the USB and it makes like the little chime to tell you that it's connected. It's like doo-doo-doo, or doo-doo-doo, like when it decides to disconnect. So I was getting that like every couple minutes, and I think there was, I don't know if it's just the wire or if it's like the USB port, but something was not working properly. So in the last like 10 minutes before stream, I was trying to use a different cable, and it's weird because it's definitely charging my phone, but it's not recognizing my phone as a camera. So I don't know. I had another issue with my PC. It's something that I just didn't talk about because it was not relevant to stream whatsoever, and it didn't affect stream, but I was having this PC issue a while back where whenever I would start up my computer, for one, it takes a long time to start up, and then two, when it does start up, my second monitor, which is like my Cintiq, which is what I draw on, something about the, how should I say this, like the screen, rather than being in its normal 100% like size, it would be really zoomed in for some reason, and basically the only way to fix it is to restart the computer and do it again. But the last 2 times that I have started my PC, even though it still took a little bit to load up, it hasn't had that issue, and I think it had something to do with the fact that I packed up my Nintendo Switch like this week, and so I unplugged it from my PC, and I am wondering if it's had something to do with like the graphics card, because ever since I removed the Switch from my PC, I haven't had that issue with my Cintiq, but now I'm experiencing some other kind of USB issue. So it is rather unfortunate, but you know, I guess this being the last stream before my hiatus, hopefully during the hiatus, aquarium staff can take a look at my equipment and try to figure out what's wrong with it. I'm sure it has something to do with, you know, I'm sure it's dusty and dirty, and It's just, yeah, it's been a while. So hopefully we can get everything situated and fixed by the time I return. But how is everybody doing today? I know it's sad you don't get to see me move around on our last day together. I'm sorry, but I guess in this way I don't have to be too, how should I say this? I think there's something about being able to solely focus on just chatting with you guys versus like being a little more self-conscious and moving around and stuff and chatting with you that way. But yeah, I'm sorry it's gotta be like this. Yeah, it seems like from what I was told, because I went to the gym earlier too, and it seems like there were some power outages happening in Float Harbor, which is a shame, but I'm wondering if maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. When I came back to the enclosure, it seemed like, at least on my end, things were okay, but who knows? Yeah, at this point in time, my enclosure is about, I would say, 90 to 95% packed up. I obviously left my PC and my equipment more or less still up, knowing that I still had one more stream to do today. But of course, like, you know, as it would, maybe it's because I have started cleaning up around the area that my PC didn't like that. Enclosure is mad you're leaving, so it's hacking you. Yeah, I know. That would happen, wouldn't it? Yeah, I don't know, it's been strange week. I think I've just had lately, I mean, I talked about this on Tuesday a little bit, but this past week has all just been focusing mostly on cleaning up in the area and trying to hang out and see people few times. All the cleaning and packing that I've been doing lately has kicked up a lot of, you'd be surprised. You know, I like to think that my enclosure is pretty clean, but you would be surprised how much one otter can produce dust. Hi, Dreamy. How are you? Thanks for joining today. As you can see, I was just discussing my woes, my technology woes. I think, I kid you not, 10 minutes before stream started, everything started to fall apart. Empty shells everywhere, yeah. It is, like I said, I am quite, I do my best to keep the enclosure clean, but I guess I produce a lot more dust than I think. Either that, or this is all just old dust from when Little Creature used to cohabitate my space with me. Your Ebers, but we press on. Yeah, I feel that. I am actually so glad, because I initially was only planning on giving myself 1 week to pack, but I think 2 weeks was just kind of perfect, because I didn't feel rushed, and I was able to work on the enclosure a little bit at a time to pack up things. Yeah, so now I'm like I was saying, about 90 to 95% done. It's just a matter of, you know, those final things like, oh, obviously I still need to use the bed and I still need clothes to wear. So some things are still out and about. But otherwise, I've tried to wrap up things. I actually, I was saying that after stream ended on Tuesday, you know, after I ended stream, my PC was already starting to give me trouble. And so I had unplugged my USB cable and put it away, and then I realized today, like, wait, why did I do that? I still have one more stream. So then I put it back, like, this is 20 minutes before stream started, was checking everything was good, it was working just fine, and then of course 10 minutes in, I physically moved my Cintiq monitor, and then like my PC did not like that. I must have budged something, because then the USB was like, nope, we're not cooperating now. Otters don't need beds, get some seaweed. True, wrap myself up nice and comfy. Yeah, maybe on the last night I'll take my blanket and pack it up. I haven't packed it obviously because I've been using it, but it's a weighted blanket. I love to feel squished. But I think, so if you've never used like a weighted blanket before when you sleep, when you start using it, it's a little bit weird because it's quite heavy, or you're just not used to the blanket having that much heft to it. But once you get used to it, it's like, oh, now I need like 2 weighted blankets to feel comfy. Otherwise, I wiggle around too much. I actually think my sleep this past week has been, I would say it's been okay. I feel like, well, because I've cleared out a lot of my little nest. I usually am surrounded by stuffed animals and pillows and cushions, but because I've started packing things away, right now it's just the weighted blanket and like the basic pillows. And so there's so much more space in my bed, but I think that's the problem, because now I'm like tossing and turning all night. Start using so many weighted blankets until you smoosh yourself. Yeah. I know, it just, yeah, I think I literally just need something to hold me down. Otherwise, I toss and turn, and lately, I think I may have tweaked something in my hip or my back, because I went to go pick up some of my things in storage with Papa Pascal, and he warned me that this thing we were picking up was very heavy, and I was like, okay, I can handle it, but I didn't anticipate just how heavy this box was, and so it caught me a little off guard. I think I may have injured myself, because, well, at the time that this pain started to occur, I thought maybe it was caused by, yeah, me just sleeping in a weird position or overdoing something at the gym. But after some discussion, I think it's actually some kind of hip muscle that has radiated up to my back. And it's the same spot that I've felt it in the past when I have tried to do a deadlift at the gym. So I think it's just a matter of I wasn't bracing properly, and now I am paying for it. Chiropractor time. Yeah, I just need to stretch, and I think, yeah, like, so when one of my gym buddies had suggested that it was a hip issue and not a back issue, that kind of made a lot of sense to me, because when I was in bed last night, I was kind of trying to stretch it out and see if I could get the spot that I was feeling, and it seems to be when I twist or stretch out in a certain direction using my leg rather than like trying to curve my back, you know, that's where I can feel it alleviated. And so today, initially I was gonna do back day at the gym, but I ended up doing legs instead, and lo and behold, when I started doing some leg exercises that involved using my hip muscles, the pain in my back just suddenly disappeared. So yeah, I think if I just keep doing some leg exercises, you know, carefully, I can hopefully just ease whatever tension I'm feeling, and it will go away in time. I would say in the past, when I've felt this kind of injury, it would go away in about like a week or a week and a half, assuming that I don't overdo it with trying to exercise, or yeah, if I don't push myself too hard. Yeah, so we shall see. Actually, let me move myself over a little bit, because we're gonna kind of bring ourselves more in the middle here. There we go. For any vertical YouTube people, I'll now be a little more center. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I mean, you're just gonna tune in and see me staring at you. You need a calico to look at you. Chiropractor time? Maybe. I mean, like I said, if this pain persists further than what I anticipate, then I'll try to look into it a little bit more, but I'm not too worried. It's not like debilitating pain. It's just kind of like, this is more uncomfortable than it should be. The blue eye stare with my arms crossed. You just smile. I love that meme. I've hired this calico to stare at you. But yeah, how should I say? Yeah, just been a very reflective time, I think. Normally, initially when I was packing, I was usually in call with a friend just to kind of keep myself, I guess, feeling like there was someone there to keep me busy, but I find actually I lock in and focus a little bit better when I just have music playing and I'm just kind of doing my own little task. So that's how it's been. It's just like, I'll turn on a music playlist on shuffle or a music playlist on YouTube, and then just pick something to pack and just pack it away or organize it or whatever it is that I need to do. So pretty much as soon as this stream is over, I will do just that. I will start disconnecting things and trying to organize them neatly in a way so that way I can pack them properly and safely for the transition between one enclosure to the next. I've previously never had problems traveling with my equipment, but this time around might be a little bit different, so we'll see how it goes. I think it'll be fine. It's just a matter of just being very careful with everything. What I am not looking forward to is having to put everything that's been packed into the staff has like kind of like a forklift situation, so you still gotta you still gotta pack everything onto the forklift to carry it all to the next enclosure, but it's still a lot of things. Requires a bit of manual labor, and then of course another more manual labor once you get to the new enclosure to take everything off the forklift and carry it over to where it needs to go. But I feel pretty confident with the way that I've packed and organized things so far. Like, I'm pretty sure it'll make everything a lot easier once I'm, having to unpack. Like, it'll just be, oh, where did this thing go? Or where is that thing? It'll just be in the box where it should be. yeah, I think I've also had more time to process all this overall too. Just because before, the best way that I could explain this was, so a long time ago, before this enclosure, I lived in a different enclosure, but when I moved to that previous enclosure, it was very sudden, and I didn't really get to tell anyone that I was moving. So I think for a lot of people, it just kind of came as like a, oh, Calico doesn't live here anymore. She's just gone. But this time around, because I've had time to just let people know, like, hey, I'm leaving now, and I've had to say it so many times, it's also allowed me to kind of be like, oh, yeah, I am moving on to a better enclosure, better space, and that's very exciting. And well, yes, it is sad to leave some, not that I'm leaving them behind, but just like I won't be able to see them as frequently or as much as I'd like to. Yeah, I will obviously still come back to visit this part of the aquarium. Of course, we still live in the same aquarium. It's the same ocean, so to speak. Yeah, and that also gives a lot of my friends and family the opportunity to come see me as well in my new space. And that's, I'm also very excited for. You know, I would say in the enclosure I currently live in, I have, you know, it's not so tiny, but it's not the biggest space. So I've been kind of cooped up for a couple years, and everything is just like stored away somewhere because I have to make room, or, you know, I need to have room, or everything has just been kind of always on in a place where I just don't have a proper spot for it. But in my new enclosure, there's a spot pretty much for everything, or whatever I'd like, and I will finally have the chance to decorate the space as I please a little bit more than what I have. I kind of had that in an old enclosure too, but I was there for just well, I guess I should say I had a small spot, but didn't really get to, I got to customize it, but maybe not to the same degree as I will get to in this new enclosure. Moving to greener kelp forest, yeah, that's a good way to put it, the kitty. How's your foot been? I know you mentioned you might have to go back and get it reassessed or something along those lines. Oh. Yeah, and then also just trying to find time to make sure in between everything that I can still get a proper workout in. What I should do is get a hot water bottle or a heating pad for my hip/back. Maybe I'll do that with when I get into bed tonight. I did joke to some friends that maybe my lower back issues were coming from the fact that my dump be too big, so I can't lie down proper on my bed because my spine be curved weird. But I do know, like, when I sleep on my side, it's weird. Like my hip is twisted one way because it's comfy, but my upper body also wants to lay a specific way because that's comfy. But then I end up looking like some kind of twisted pretzel. and that's not good for too long. Like, it's comfy for a bit, but then I wake up and I'm like, oh my god, everything hurts. You're gonna have it looked at next week? Okay, I hope it goes well. As well as it can go. The incision isn't healing and my foot isn't flat and hard to walk on. It will be okay though. Okay, good. But that's very odd that the incision isn't healing. Yes, I'm wishing you the best. And like I said, you know, even though I will be on a streaming hiatus, there's a couple things to maybe look forward to that I am a part of while I'm gone. I will be sure to let all of you know on YouTube, on Twitter, on Blue Sky, wherever you find me. No, it's painful, just hard to get around. Oh, well, that's great. It's an improvement, right? You're working to getting to be 100% there. I believe. I'm looking forward to, I think I've said this before, but I will have, man, what is going on next door? Something happened at the enclosure. I hear a lot of noise. But yeah, I will have a lot of free time for once, and it's very exciting because now I can finally have a chance to tune in to people's streams that I've been missing. I'll be able to catch up on a lot of games that I've been wanting to play that I haven't been able to play. How do you guys feel? Okay, listen. So I am a big Undertale / Deltarune fan, and I have played those games on several occasions with different people. Are you guys like... I know for a lot of people, when they go to watch someone play Deltarune or Undertale, they're hoping to see someone experience it for the very first time. But are you guys like opposed to watching someone play a game that they're already very familiar with and just kind of doing whatever? I just think, you know, if I were to play Deltarune with someone on stream, I think that'd be fun, regardless of... I mean, I think ideally I would want to play it with someone who hasn't played it before. But as for my own experience, I've already played it several times. Well, you sleep on your stomach. I can't sleep on my stomach for very long. Like, sometimes it's comfortable, but then I ultimately end up flipping around. I am... If you want to know... If you want to imagine... I mean, it's... You know, how sea otters sleep. That is exactly what you should expect from me. I am always on my back, generally. But sometimes I'll be on my side for a little bit, and then... But no matter how I end up falling asleep, I always wake up on my back. So my body just knows to keep me that way, face up. And even on pain meds, really, mobility is the issue, and we'll probably start therapy for it. Okay, well, that's good. Glad that there's no pain. Yeah, there's a lot of other games that I really like that, you know, I've obviously already played, but I do like to revisit them just because they're comfy and cozy, or at least for me. I want to get like I love Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door. I think it's a great RPG. You love Undertale and Deltarune, but you're more interested in the AUs. That's fair. Yeah, I am I would consider myself a pretty big Undertale and Deltarune fan. But yeah, because I tend to play it with friends off stream, and we just kind of like play it together, and we'll do the voice acting and whatnot. But I wouldn't mind doing that again for people who just like Undertale or Deltarune. Yeah, there's a lot of games like that. I mean, something else I'm also excited about is once I am in my new enclosure, you know, the Float Harbor staff hasn't really evaluated too much with me yet, but there's probably gonna be more Calico streams in our near future, like more than twice a week. We bumping up. I don't know how many times realistically, but I guess that's what staff is for. We'll do a lot of discussion and back and forth and figure out what works best for everybody involved. And more streams means more games. But you know, I like to do a variety, so we'll do some games, we'll do more art. I actually have a couple different art streams in mind that I'd like to do that I haven't done yet. I want to do, yeah, we've kind of slowed down on hand cam streams since we had to stop with the morning streams. But yeah, I did really enjoy waking up and just kind of chatting and doing things together. You're a bigger fan when you were younger, but then you forgot about it. One AU reignited your interest recently. Ooh. Who doesn't have a crush on Sans Undertale? I mean, really. Yeah, I love the guy. We love a skeleton who can make us laugh. Yeah, there's just something about the vibe of Undertale and Deltarune that I really enjoy. And I'm sure a lot of people would say the same. Actually, lately, while I've been at the gym, my playlists, so I tend to go back and forth. Sometimes I just want to listen to like a lot of lyrical type songs, and sometimes I just want to listen to just instrumental type stuff. So recently I've been listening to just Undertale and Deltarune music. I think it's because lately I've been really in my head and I just have been like thinking about a lot of things, so I would prefer music that doesn't really detract from my thinking, whereas other times I'll listen to songs that have lyrics because I'm just like trying not to think, if that makes sense. You just gotta get stuff done. Ooh, Ink Sans. I'll have to look that up. I'm curious now. You've piqued my interest. Fell in love with. Yeah, you know, I don't, or I have not really delved too far into, I guess the Undertale or Deltarune fandom space in terms of like AU stuff, but I know there is a lot of good stuff out there. Actually, I think I mentioned it when we were doing the last art stream where I was doing requests and I did some Deltarune stuff. You know, that Chris and Noelle pairing, ooh, the angst just hits so good. And there's so many really talented artists out there who also really like it. There's like one particular fan art that keeps coming back on my timeline, and every time I see it I'm just like, oh, it hurts so good. Like I'm pretty I'm pretty open-minded when it comes to like pairings in most fandoms, so like, you know, I'm always down to see like, oh, what people enjoy and why they enjoy it. But yeah, I think if I had to pick a favorite, it's currently Chris and Noelle. But you know, in terms of just like, oh, I want something less angsty and maybe just more sweet, you know, Noelle and Susie. Suzelle. It's so cute. And then a really funny one I've also been enjoying is the Chris and Birdley. I keep thinking back to minor spoilers. Just, it's not even like plot wise, but there's a dialogue in chapter 5 where you can respond to Birdley, and the line is literally just like, "Me likey," and I keep laughing at that thought of just like, you know, the soul just being like, yeah, Birdley, let's just pursue this, and Chris is like, please no. It's a very not Chris response, but it's just so funny. Yeah, and I think chapter 5, it's weird because I feel like usually as the new chapters come out, I try to hop on and play like right away, so I can try to avoid any other spoilers like online as much as possible. I didn't know what to anticipate with this latest chapter, but I think they did a good job of introducing like a whole new cast of characters and allowing you to kind of fall in love with them just within one chapter. I think of my I think it's pretty obvious my favorite flower of the new cast. It's Yellow. He's just so funny. Very particular about your ships, to be honest. They have to be compatible, unless it's an EU where they think differently. I do like shipping characters for fun, though. I don't like when you only ship 2 characters because they fit a trope. They actually just hate each other. That's fair. I feel like everybody's tastes are different in that way. When I did the last Phoenix Wright stream, you know, every now and then, if it's not in the title, I'll usually put some kind of silly, like, line in the description. And it didn't seem to match what was going on in the case so far, but I really wanted to put, like, Yellow's line of, "Am I a criminal? Am I a criminal?" But it was like, maybe in the future we'll get to a point where I can use that line. Would have been fitting for the last case in the first Ace Attorney. Sometimes it can feel a bit weird. Other times it's kind of funny if they're self-aware of how incompatible they are. Yeah, yeah, I mean, there's different... What's interesting, too, is, like, there's so many different dynamics in relationships in general. So it's always interesting to see, like, what people enjoy out of certain character mechanics, or, like... I think it's a good way for people to also kind of explore their own preferences. For sure. Like, in terms of both fiction and reality. Blue is a really great flower. I love blue, too. Very sweet. I took that, there was this Deltarune meme going around, or not a meme, it's like a quiz, and it was basically like, oh, this 60 question quiz that would help you see what kind of soul you have, like what color is your soul. And well, actually, maybe that's something we can do right now. It's a very silly. We're gonna derail a little bit, but we don't do that. It's not a bad idea, Calico. We can do that on stream right now. Let's see. I have to set this up though. Thankfully not too hard, but I'm going to do it this way. I have to remember what it's called. There are a lot of people who are doing it on Twitter. Let me see. Who do I know did it recently? I think Moguri? Moguri did the quiz too. Moguri is a VTuber moot that I have not been able to tune into, but I saw they went to Offkai. Okay, here we go. I'm just pulling up the URL for the quiz. Undertale dot Jaden the Jaded .uk. Alright. Did I spell it wrong? Reload. No! Hold on. I just need a... This happened last time, and I don't know if it's because I typed in the URL wrong, or... Let me see. So, try this again. Undertale dot Jaden the Jaded .uk. There we go. Okay, so I must have typed something wrong. We're gonna skip. Whoa, it's loud. Off. Oh, music also off. We can leave the sound on, that's fine. Where is... Okay, so... Let me pull this up here. I'll move myself again to the side. Oop. I always imagined the soul of integrity in Undertale to be an elegant black girl with the ballet shoes, so I was very happy, even with Blue not being a girl. Yeah, I did like that they... Well, I mean... Yeah, I mean, I'm very happy with the way they decided to present Blue. Okay, I need the window capture. I'm gonna do this. Okay. Let me move myself a little bit. I'm gonna scooch myself this way, back to the side. So, okay, well, hold on. Undo that. It will be right here. And then put the text maybe up here. Or I guess we can keep it down here. Sure. And then, okay, window capture. Let's turn that on. We're going to rescale this. Maybe that's too small. Hold on. I'm going to crop it a little. Okay, we about to find out. You'll learn some new things about me. right now. Okay, let me turn on the... It shouldn't be very loud, but I'll turn on the broadcast anyway so you can hear the, like, the beep, 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 beep. Hear that? I make myself a little smaller. Weep. It'll be over here. All the way off to the side. Okay. Put in your guesses right now. What do you think my result's gonna be? We're gonna take this quiz. It is 66 questions. If you want, you can follow along with me, or maybe you want to do the quiz yourself. The URL is called undertale.jadenthejaded.uk. I can even put it in chat if you want. If you've not taken this quiz, basically people were figuring out what kind of soul, like what color their soul is. It's all for funsies, obviously. So let's read the prompt together. So there's 7 human souls, 7 virtues. This device has been designed to reveal which one suits you best. Every answer is scored against all 7 virtues at once. Some answers are mostly one thing and a little of another, and some also detract from other values, or virtues. There are no right or wrong answers, but being honest about one's flaws should provide more accurate results. Yeah, do it with me. 66 questions, it's pretty long. There are 7 results that you can get. We are going to find out what kind of soul does Calico Pascal have. Let's proceed. So number 1. You often feel like you can't simply be yourself in a group. Do you strongly disagree or strongly agree? Let's see. How do I feel? You often feel like you can't simply be yourself in a group. I would disagree with that note. Actually, I strongly disagree. So once you decide you want something, talking you out of it is close to impossible. I feel like a lot of the times when I want something, I kind of sit on it and think about it before making any sort of decision. And sometimes I will talk to people to see like what they think, even though in my head I may have already made the decision of whether or not I'm gonna get it. So I don't think it's impossible, but by the time that I've already decided to consult someone, I've already made the decision. So we'll just say mostly agree. You believe that some things only get through to a person once they hurt them. Once they hurt them. I would agree with that. I don't know if I strongly agree, but I think that is true to some extent. You're very indecisive and easily swayed. If someone has something to tell you, you don't get anxious while waiting to know what it is. That is incorrect. I typically get pretty anxious. Though it depends. I don't know if I've ever been... Yeah, it just depends on the context, if there is any context, and maybe the person. There are some people where if they say something like that, I'm not, like, really worried, and then there's some people who will say something like, oh, we need to talk, and then I start getting really anxious. So, I would just... I'm somewhere, like, more in the middle of this. But maybe we should just say somewhat anxious. I think more or less of the time I'm pretty chill. If you actually apologize, I'm very forgiving. Yeah, I would say the same. I think if I have been hurt by someone, I don't tend to hold a grudge if they come and we talk about it. You tend to avoid doing things that make you uncomfortable. I would say sometimes. I'm more in the middle. Like, I think it's more of like, I will complain and I'll be uncomfortable, but I'll still force myself to do it if it's necessary. But depending on what we're talking about, I may be very like super hesitant to do it, or I'll just complain a lot about doing it. So I'll just say sometimes. You have a hard time forgiving people. No, I disagree with that. Not strongly disagree, I mostly disagree. I think, again, it just depends on context, but for the most part, I'm pretty forgiving. You do what you have to, even when the motivation isn't there. I will agree with that. I wouldn't say strongly agree. I begrudgingly will do it. You believe you can be trusted with secrets. I would say somewhere between here, agree and neutral. I'm gonna go with more neutral. You can tell when things are over. I feel like generally I have a pretty good sense of when things are done and over with. I think there's been like maybe one time that was like, it was because I didn't want things to end, you know? But maybe there was a part of me that already knew it was over. You're often told you have a tendency to pry too much. I strongly disagree with that. I feel like sometimes people expect you to pry more than you should. We're gonna say strongly disagree. You believe time heals all wounds. I strongly agree with that. It may take a very long time, but time heals all wounds. I agree with that sentiment. You could use being more open about the things that make you hurt. I agree. I'm not very good at at talking about my feelings. I feel like a lot of the time it's because I don't want to say something that I may not mean, but in the process of holding it in, I'm not processing it. Does that make sense? So it takes me a bit to finally like talk and open up about things. Which is funny because I feel like every time I do open up about things, that's usually when I have very genuine conversations with people. Not that I'm not genuine when I'm talking to people to begin with, but I feel like I hold back a lot, typically. You believe that everyone should be held to the same standards. Depends on context here. But generally I would say yes. I strongly agree. You often regret things you've said in the heat of the moment. Yeah, I strongly agree with that. You adjust the way you act and talk depending on who you are with. It's somewhere between often and always. I feel like I get along with a lot of different types of people, but I don't know if it's specifically me changing the way I act and talk, or just like me being able to mesh well with another person. So I don't know if it's more an issue of me myself changing the way I act or talk, or if I'm just compatible with a lot of different types of people. So we'll just say often on this one. You feel uncomfortable talking about your worries to other people, but want others to tell you theirs. That is 100% correct. You believe asking others for help equates to failing. Yes, this is a problem that I have too. You would tell a friend they're in the wrong even if it meant hurting their feelings. I would agree. I don't know if I would strongly agree, because sometimes I think it really depends on the person and how I think they may react. And a lot of times it also is dependent on like how I feel like I can approach the situation. So I'd just say agree. Oh god, jump scare. Do you think that even the worst person can change? That everybody can be a good person if they just tried? That everyone can be better if they put in the effort and actually want to, but afterwards it doesn't mean they deserve kindness or forgiveness for doing the right thing. Yeah, I think if everybody just tried, it is possible. But yeah, I mean, that doesn't change any of a person's prior actions to what they did. And I think there's a lot of people who unfortunately don't want to face the reality of like things they have said or done, or they obviously regret what they've said or done, and then they don't want to be reminded of a thing that they've said or done. But I think if they tried, yeah, it's possible. When you lose interest in something, you abandon it entirely. I don't know if maybe in the moment I do, but I feel like a lot of the times I come back to things. So we'll just say agree. You need things resolved quickly, otherwise you get anxious. That is 100%. Strongly agree. You enjoy trying out new things that pique your interest, especially if they get you out of your comfort zone. I do agree with this notion. Strongly agree. When you know someone is wrong, you can't help but correct them. I will say often, but not always. Again, it just depends on the context here. Regardless of what other people do, you have your own set of rules you won't break. Strongly agree. I have very strong internal morals. You often procrastinate until the last possible second before a deadline. Sometimes, not always. I've been better about it, I would say. Oh, I'll just say agree. You dislike owing people and try to pay back any favors as soon as you can. Strongly agree. When something you cared about fails or ends, it takes you a long time to find something new to care about. I disagree with that. You regularly question your identity and try to get to know yourself better. Always, 100%. I'm always reflecting and thinking about what I have said or done all the time. If someone you hold dear asked you for help, you'd see it through to the end, even if that meant hurting yourself in the process. Even if it meant hurting yourself in the process. If someone you hold dear asked for help, I would agree with that. You would turn down an opportunity if you knew someone who would be a better fit. I strongly agree with that. You believe that the end justifies the means. Not a strong agree, but agree. You have a hard time believing you're worth the effort it takes to be with you, if not for convenience. I disagree with that. Others say you speak without thinking. Never. You need to have things planned out before you feel ready to do something. Generally, yes. I get too anxious if, like, as much as, you know, I'm all for the YOLO mindset, I don't think there's a part of me that is keeping my feet tied to the floor. Like, I don't think I could ever truly do a YOLO, ever. There has to be some kind of planning involved, a little bit. You consider yourself to be driven more by your emotions than by facts. I'm kind of neutral. It depends. I feel like lately... Yeah, I'm trying to find a balance. When faced with a difficult choice, you'd rather ask someone for input than choosing on your own. Yes, I generally always like to get feedback. You would like to love yourself the way you are, but you rarely can. I would strongly disagree. You perform poorly when you can't tell if you're doing well or not. Strongly agree with that. You've stuck with things long after they stopped being good for you, because quitting felt like betrayal. I somewhat agree. You would rather be hated than having to pretend you're someone else. Yeah. When something looks unlikely to work, you would rather put your efforts somewhere it will. True. You believe that solving someone's issues for them would be doing a disservice to them. I agree. If someone says you wouldn't dare do something, you need to prove them wrong. It depends. I'm gonna say neutral on that one. You keep quiet about things that bother you until they become unbearable. Yep. You don't mind sitting in silence with someone for a long time. It depends on the person and how well I know them. But generally, after some time, I would just say, yeah, I don't mind, normally. You often interrupt people when talking about something that excites you. Unfortunately, this has happened a couple times. I feel like it's a problem of, like, not knowing when to jump into the conversation and when someone else is going to speak and vice versa. Like, I don't know, there's been so many times where I'll try to butt in, like I see an opportunity and then someone just starts talking over me and then I have to hold my thought and then I try to jump in again and now it's like, oh, now I might be jumping over somebody else and it's just like, I hate it when that happens. You think some of your interests are embarrassing and avoid talking about them in front of people you're not close with. I would disagree with that. I'm pretty open about my interests, even to, like, people who aren't involved in that thing. You believe that sugarcoating things can only make them worse in the long term. I would agree. Difficult situations hardly stress you out. Disagree. Actually, strongly disagree. You believe some things are unattainable even if you want them, and that settling for what it is acceptable. I would say strongly agree. You're already on the last question, and you went through it so fast. Being liked matters more to you than being understood. I would disagree. You are comfortable putting your own needs first when they clash with someone else's. Disagree. You tend to endure difficult situations rather than be the one to end them. Agree. You avoid intervening in matters that don't concern you directly. Agree. Often. Seeing someone being treated unfairly angers you deeply. Strongly agree. You value the journey more than you do the destination. Feel like generally I'm kind of neutral. When someone is struggling, letting them fail and learn from the experience is sometimes for the best. The room between, or agree? I agree. You are more critical of yourself than you are of others. Strongly agree. You would put yourself in harm's way if it meant helping someone you hold dear. Agree. You sometimes think of yourself as better than other people. You know, after having worked in customer service, I'm gonna have to agree on that one. Others would say you're close-minded or stuck in your ways. I disagree. When faced with hardships, your first instinct is to keep going no matter what. Strongly agree. You usually prefer having difficult conversations once the heat of the moment has passed. Heat's flames, man. You would happily accept a flattering description of yourself that isn't quite accurate. I disagree. You have taken up many things that you haven't seen through to the end. Strongly agree. Okay, last question. Anybody want to put in their bets now what my result's gonna be? Having done something and failed is still better than not having done anything at all. I strongly agree with that notion. Alright, what color soul does Calico Pascal have? Let's find out. Have you answered honestly? I have. You acknowledge the possibility of pain and seizure. Yes. Interesting. Integrity. Despite the pressure to change, I stayed true to myself. A blue soul. A clear result, but not a lopsided one. Kindness is right behind it by 4.4 points. Wow, that's pretty close. Actually, this is 50% is neutral. Above it, you leaned toward that virtue. Below it, you leaned away. You got kindness. Nice. So actually, the first time I did this quiz, this is my second time taking it. This first time I did it, I got kindness with justice right behind it. But I think I was just kind of going through it pretty fast and not really thinking too hard on some questions. This time around, I really did kind of like think about it a little bit more before answering. So I'm going to consider this the actual result. So integrity, let's read a little bit. Yippee! Hello, Gone Puppy. I have a blue soul. What is integrity? Integrity is consistency between what is said, what is done, and who one is. It is less about honesty as a policy than about the discomfort of being two different people depending on the circumstances, which you feel more sharply than most. In practice, it makes you predictable in the good sense. People know what they're getting, you're trustworthy, and your word is your bond, making you shine as a guiding light for others to follow. Wow. The shadow of one's soul. Integrity is rigid, and it can quietly become too proud of itself. If unregulated, integrity can make its own self-satisfaction more important than anything else, so long as it can tell itself that it's part of its identity. Being able to always tell the truth rarely requires hurting the ones who have to hear it. It's also a way of never having to change. This is who I am is a very convenient wall to build and hide behind, and one that is difficult to break down. Often confused with justice. So integrity and justice have many things in common. Both have a strong moral compass, both are hard to sway, and both concern themselves with building a framework of rules. The main difference is who these rules are pointed at. Integrity will use them for itself with little concern for others, while justice holds everyone to those same standards. Your second virtue. Your second strongest virtue is kindness at 74%. Thanks to kindness's wish to help those in need, the kind integris is always ready to help, but can direct this motion toward causes they especially believe in. These people will often fight for social causes and concern themselves with what is good for society rather than for individuals. On the other hand, the kind integris can end up taking too much pride in their kindness, to the point where they might feel superior to the people they help, or keep count of their good deeds to bring up later at their convenience. Your lowest virtue is determination, 28%. Of course, no one can be perfect at anything. Wow. Your second virtue is justice. Very nice. Interesting. Well, there you have it. I got the blue soul. Integrity. With kindness, right behind it, 74%. Patience, 68. Justice, 66. Bravery, 60. Perseverance, 34. And determination at 28. Motivation is... Oh, shit, no. We gotta get some motivation. Interesting, interesting. But that was fun. Good quiz. Okay, let me close it now. We've had our fun. Wait. And then remove the broadcast. There we go. And then I'll move myself back up in a second. Alrighty. Here I come back. Here I come. Here comes Calico. Back in the center of the stream. Yeah, I'll move the text too. Oh, sounds like construction going on next door. I don't know if it's picking up at all, but like walls are shaking and stuff here. Let me make this bigger. Whoa. Okay. I'll just leave it as is here. The quote on mine is, "No matter how many times I got hurt, I never let that make me cruel." Well, that's good. Yeah, fun little quiz. I always like taking little quizzes like that. It's one of those things that make you really think about yourself. Maybe silly, but you know, like I know some people who hate like things like that because they're like, oh, it's just, it doesn't say like what you are. Of course not. It's just all for fun. It's just like astrology. You know, I don't 100% believe in astrology, but I think the idea is fun and interesting. I've been seeing, for the most part, I think most people's results have been kindness, which is good. Glad everybody can be kind. I mean, since I got the same sort of result with every quiz, I'd say it's a bit accurate. Well, I'm just curious which of my answers were different from the first time I did that quiz for me to get different results. Hello, Nyoni. Being an INFP, I think from my memory of doing those Myers-Briggs personality tests, the very first time I did it, I got ENFP, and then I did it again, and then I got INFP, and then I did it a third time. Like, and when I say I've done this quiz multiple times, that was with like a lot of space in between. So I think at different points of my life, of course, your results would be different. The last result I remember getting was not ENFP or INFP. It was something very different. And I was like, wow, what changed in just that time period? I don't remember what the result was, but it was very different. Hi, Nyoni. Yeah, sorry the camera's not working today. Of course, it would happen on the very last stream before hiatus, right? You take the same quiz every year and I'm always the same. Well, that's good. Yeah, I feel like a lot of the times, more or less, the results are very similar or very close, but generally depending on what's been going on in my life, I feel like I tend to have different results. But I think maybe underneath, like, everything is more or less the same, you know. It's just because a lot of those questions are they're vague on purpose. So depending on the context of which you decide to frame it, you would change your answer. Maybe I should be integrity instead. Yeah, exactly. Despite everything, it's still you. Well, now you got me curious. Maybe I should take the another quiz, another Myers-Briggs. It's been a long time. I can't remember the last time I did it. Alright, do we do another quiz? What else are we doing? Yeah. Myers-Briggs. Personality test. Free personality test. The 16 personalities. Okay, we doing this. Let me adjust this again. Complete the test. Be yourself and answer honestly to find out your personality type. Oh, sorry, I'm reading it. Look, that quiz is so long. It's okay. We just did a quiz that was like 60 questions. We still have like an hour and a half of stream. And it's good. It's like allowing us to talk and discuss different things. Here, I'll scoot myself back to where I was. I'll leave the text alone. We don't need the broadcast, you just need to be able to see it. Okay. Let me see if okay. I just wanted you guys to be able to see it. Hopefully this is big enough. Scooch a little more. Like this. Alright. Oh, let me recrop it a little. So you can see a little bit more. 16 personalities. There you go. That should be okay, I think. There. We be yapping. Exactly, we have so much time to yap. Alright, let's begin. This very long test. Hey, I mean, you get to know a little bit about me in the process of doing this. Let's scooch myself just a tad more. There we go. Okay, 16 personalities. Disclaimer, I've not done this quiz in a very long time, so I really don't know what my result's gonna be by the end of this. We'll figure that out. You regularly make new friends. I would say, like, yeah, not super, but for the most part. Excuse me. You enjoy exploring unfamiliar ideas and viewpoints. Yeah. You are not easily swayed by emotional arguments. I'd agree with that. I think I am not swayed, but I am empathetic, so I will also get emotional. But just, like, once I come to a conclusion, I think, again, depending on the context, I'm generally, like, pretty much set on what I think. You struggle with deadlines? I would disagree with that. Somewhere between here. Like, maybe like this. You rarely feel insecure. Disagree. You avoid making phone calls. Agree. Next. You enjoy debating ethical dilemmas. I do not strongly or not super strongly, but mostly disagree. You prioritize being sensitive over being completely honest. Disagree. Your living and working spaces are clean and organized. Disagree. At least right now. Let's hope that changes in the future. You often feel overwhelmed. Yeah. You enjoy participating in team-based activities. I'm like neutral. Before the answer would have been like strong disagree. I think I'm kind of like whatever. I typically would rather be solo, so let's just say mostly like neutral-ish disagree. You enjoy experimenting with new and untested approaches. I don't know if I enjoy it per se. I'm gonna go neutral on that one. You prioritize facts over people's feelings when determining a course of action. I mostly disagree with that. You often allow the day to unfold without any schedule at all. Disagree. You rarely worry about whether you make a good impression on people you meet. Disagree. You feel comfortable just waking up or walking up to someone you find interesting and striking up a conversation. Neutral. You're not too interested in discussions about various interpretations of creative works. I would disagree with that. People's stories and emotions speak louder to you than numbers or data. Yeah. You actively seek out new experiences and knowledge areas to explore. I don't know if I actively do it. I would say I'm neutral. You're prone to worrying that things will take a turn for the worst. I agree. You enjoy solitary hobbies or activities more than group ones. Yeah. You cannot imagine yourself writing fictional stories for a living. I disagree with that. You favor efficiency in decisions, even if it means disregarding some emotional aspects. Sometimes. You prefer to do your chores before allowing yourself to relax. I know it's the better thing to do. I don't know if I like to think that it will help me get stuff out of the way. I don't know if I would actively choose to do it every time. I kind of like begrudgingly do it, knowing that it will allow me to relax better. In disagreements, you prioritize proving your point over preserving the feelings of others. I would agree with that. You usually wait for others to introduce themselves first at social gatherings. Yeah. Your mood can change very quickly. I would disagree. You usually feel more persuaded by what resonates emotionally with you than by factual arguments. I would agree. You often end up doing things at the last possible moment. Not always. I disagree. You prioritize and plan tasks effectively, often completing them well before the deadline. I'm going back and forth on this a lot because I can't think of like a very specific time, or I'm thinking of multiple occasions. I have gone back and forth between like just barely making the deadline and also like planning ahead of time, so we're gonna go with agree. To quote some random guy I met in Rust, I have no idea who you are, but I hope you and your families have great lives. I shall leave and spread the happy message. May thy life be filled with all the glorious things. Oh, thank you. Just another bored dude. Thanks for stopping by. I'm sorry my camera's not working today, so you can't see me wiggle around and talk to you, but I am here behind the camera. So thanks for stopping by. Yeah, as you can see from the title, I am going on a short hiatus because I will be having a change in my personal life. I'm moving enclosures in my aquarium, so I will be gone for a little bit, but then I will be back. So hopefully you will also return one day. Oh, on the last test you got kindness? I feel like that's not surprising. That's what I would have anticipated for you to get, Gone Puppy. You are very kind indeed. Hello, Kiko. Oh no, YouTube's being difficult, not letting you chat. I did notice, I don't know if it's just like a delay, but I saw some messages earlier that were kind of popping up a bit after I had already talked about something, so maybe YouTube is being a little finicky. You usually prefer to be around others than on your own. Kind of neutral on that one. You become bored or lose interest when the discussion gets highly theoretical. I would agree with that. It depends. Sometimes I'm down. A lot of times, I think more often than not, I kind of check out after a certain point. When facts and feelings conflict, you usually find yourself following your heart. I would agree with that. You find it challenging to maintain a consistent work or study schedule. Yeah. You rarely second guess the choices you have made. Rarely second guess? I would disagree. Sometimes I think about it. Your friends would describe you as lively and outgoing. I would say yeah. I don't typically feel like I am. I think I feel like if I had to describe myself, I would consider myself an ambivert. There are some times where I would prefer to keep to myself, and then sometimes I don't mind engaging, and I feel pretty energetic when interacting with other people. So it really depends. You're drawn to various forms of creative expression, such as writing. I would agree with that. Usually base your choices on objective facts rather than emotional impressions. I would disagree. It's mostly that YouTube and Opera do not play nicely. If I was using Edge, it would load immediately. Oh no. YouTube, fix yourself. You like to have to do a to-do list for each day? Sometimes it's nice. Sometimes I don't want that. Like, especially in the upcoming future, I don't want to think about having to do anything when I'm in my new enclosure for a little bit, right? I've been on a very specific schedule for a while, so I would say for the most part I would maybe agree, but I'm gonna say neutral. Usually stay calm even under a lot of pressure. I would agree. You find the idea of networking or promoting yourself to strangers very daunting. Yeah. Complex and novel ideas excite you more than simple and straightforward ones. Hell, it just really depends. I'm gonna agree there. You can easily connect with people you have just met. I would say I'm pretty good at that. If your plans are interrupted, your top priority is to get back on track as soon as possible. Yeah. You are still bothered by mistakes that you made a long time ago. Yes. You are not too interested in discussing theories on what the world could look like in the future. We're not gonna get too deep into this one. I think... Yeah, I would say my general impression of where the world is currently headed will sound very negative, but I want to remain hopeful that things can still improve despite that. So I would disagree. Your emotions control you more than you control them. I would disagree with that. So yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying earlier. So I did another quiz before this one. It was the Undertale quiz that was going around to determine what kind of soul you have. Oh, by the way, I should link this. If you also want to do the 16 personalities quiz, feel free to join me. Although at this point I'm kind of far ahead, so here it is. But yeah, a lot of these kind of personality quizzes tend to be very vague, and I was just saying, like, the reason why my results have always been different every time I've taken this quiz in the past is because it's very, again, context dependent. So like, depending on what has happened to me in between that time period, the way that I view and answer the questions is very different. So we'll see what this current point in time, what Calico Pascal you're gonna get today. Wait, did I even answer that last one? Maybe I did. Your personal... Oh wait, hold on. Previous step. No, I did not. Oh, there we go. When making decisions, you focus more on how the affected people might feel than on what is most logical or efficient. Yeah, that is... I would say mostly agree. Okay, next. Your personal work style is closer to spontaneous bursts of energy than organized and consistent efforts. I would say this is mostly true for the most part, but I've been trying to push myself to still do it, like on a more consistent basis. When someone thinks highly of you, you wonder how long it will take them to feel disappointed in you. I don't think I've ever once thought this, but I have more often questioned why. It's not like I've never thought like, oh man, they're gonna be disappointed with me at some point. It's just more like, why? Why do you feel this way about me? So I would mostly disagree. You would love a job that requires you to work alone most of the time. I guess it really depends on the job. Though now that I have had the opportunity to both work alone and also work in a more like typical job environment, I would say that I would be more on the disagree side. I think I like having company. I like if we're suffering, I'm glad that we're suffering together, or that there's someone that I can complain to. Disappointment is such strong wording. I'm waiting for you to be disappointed in me forever? No! Gun puppy, no. You believe that pondering abstract philosophical questions is a waste of time. I would disagree. You feel more drawn to busy, bustling atmospheres than to quiet, intimate places. I would disagree on that one. If a decision feels right to you, you often act on it without needing further proof. Yeah, I would agree with that. Even a small mistake can cause you to doubt your overall abilities and knowledge. Yeah. You complete things why can't I read this? You complete things methodically, without skipping over any steps. Agree. You prefer tasks that require you to come up with creative solutions rather than follow concrete steps. I mostly disagree with that. I like following directions. I think I'm very good at that. I think that's what makes me a good baker. Like, I don't think I haven't had the opportunity to really bake too much, like, in recent times, but in the past, like, I've always enjoyed baking, and it's because, like, with baking, it's a very exact science. Like, if you try to do, like, go too far off the path with baking, everything can go wrong very quickly. You know, cooking is more like something that you can just kind of experiment a lot more with and get something still good. So with baking, yeah, I just really like baking because it just tells you what to do. If you follow the directions, then you're suddenly a good baker. I think the more that you do baking proper, you get a better kind of feel to be able to determine like where you can and can't change recipes, and that also makes a better baker, I think, in terms of like artistic creativity wise. You're more likely to rely on emotional intuition than logical reasoning when making a choice. Yeah, it really depends. I think I typically tend to lean more towards logical solutions, even if I'm a very empathetic person. So we're gonna say disagree on that. But again, it's kind of like I was saying earlier, I'm empathetic, but if I've already come to a conclusion or a decision, I think it's hard to sway me with just emotion alone. Like, you need to have some kind of logical explanation to help change my mind. You like to use organizing tools like schedules and lists. I do. You feel confident that things will work out for you. Yeah, I'm pretty hopeful. No, you are not getting my email. Your gender. This will determine your avatar in the results screen. I don't care. Just give me the results. Your personality type is Advocate, the INFJ. I think this is a different result than what I got last time. So, like I said, I've been getting different results every time I've taken this quiz. For me, structure and process are good and helpful. Winging it is too stressful. Yeah, exactly. As much as I would love to be the person that could just simply like go with the flow of things, and a lot of people have told me that they think that's the kind of personality that I have, like I'm very easygoing. The truth of the matter is that I'm not. I get stressed very easy. Maybe I just kind of hide it well, but there's always like an inkling of like anxiety that something will go wrong. So I try to kind of, if not prepare others, just like prepare myself for what's to come. Your personality type is advocate. The INFJ T. Well, let's read about the INFJ. I've never gotten this before, so this is the current me. The current me you get today is INFJ. As an INFJ advocate, you possess a unique combination of idealism and insight that sets you apart in today's world. Your rich inner life is characterized by complex emotions, vivid imagination, and a deep well of empathy that allows you to connect with others on a profound level. You have an unwavering commitment to your principles and an intense desire to make a positive impact on the world around you. Your natural ability to understand and interpret the feelings and motivations of others is both a gift and a challenge. While it enables you to form deep, meaningful connections and offer invaluable support to those around you, it can also leave you feeling overwhelmed by the emotions and needs of others. You often find yourself torn between your desire to help and your need for privacy and solitude. I feel like that's pretty accurate, actually. We're both diplomats. Yippee! He did this test on a different website with all the same questions. No! Not the paywall. For a personality quiz, man. No. No. Alright, so here are the personality traits. 61% introverted energy. I told you this tends to change a lot. Almost every single time. It's though I guess I could say, even though it's changed each time I've taken this test, more often it's usually introverted than extroverted. So at that one time that I got an extrovert result, that was a very different time and point in my life. They had all the same questions. Wow. No, take the free one. Be free. 61% introverted. You likely prefer fewer yet deep and meaningful social interactions and feel drawn to calmer environments. 61% intuitive, rather than observant. You're likely very imaginative and open-minded, focusing on hidden meanings and distant possibilities. 62% feeling, overthinking. You likely value emotional expression and sensitivity, prioritizing empathy, social harmony, and cooperation. Okay, so again, I think this definitely stems from the fact that I have had a job where I've had to interact with the public TM. It's very different from when I was just working in my enclosure by myself on my own time. I was my own boss. And I was within my own bubble. So having to work with other people really forced like the empathetic part of me to really come out and shine in the way that it has. In a good way. It's a very positive thing. 60% judging. You're likely organized, decisive, and thorough, valuing structure and planning over spontaneity. Yep. 61% turbulent versus assertive. You're likely self-conscious, sensitive to stress, success-driven, perfectionistic, and eager to improve. That is all very correct. Almost like personality are not a concrete thing and tends to ebb and flow. Yeah, definitely. Again, very different time in my life, which, again, ironically, it's like, I think you get the one base otter, the me, but the context of things that have happened within my life have changed the way that I would contextualize and respond to these questions, and thus you get this specific type of Calico Pascal right now. Your perfectionist tendencies drive you to constantly improve yourself and the world around you. This relentless pursuit of growth and meaning can be both exhilarating and exhausting. You have a knack for seeing potential and possibilities where others might not, but you may struggle to bring your visionary ideas into reality due to self-doubt or fear of criticism. You possess a rare combination of creativity and analytical ability. Your intuitive understanding of complex systems and human nature allows you to devise innovative solutions to challenging problems. However, your sensitivity to criticism and tendency to internalize stress can sometimes hold you back from fully expressing your unique gifts. Now we're working on it. Learning to balance your idealism with practicality and self-care is a key part of your personal journey. Wow. Your career path. Let's see, will this get the nail on the head? In your professional life, you're driven by a deep-seated need to find work that aligns with your values and allows you to make a meaningful difference. I would agree with that. You thrive in environments that offer opportunities for personal growth, creativity, and the chance to positively impact others' lives. Your natural empathy and insight makes you particularly well-suited for roles in counseling, healthcare, education, or nonprofit organizations. However, your idealism can sometimes clash with the realities of the working world. You may struggle with mundane tasks or office politics, preferring to focus on the bigger picture and long-term goals. Finding a balance between your need for meaningful work and the practical aspects of a career is crucial for your professional satisfaction. Look for opportunities that allow you to exercise your creativity and work independently while still contributing to a larger purpose. That is very on the nose, actually. I will, again, I'm not going to go too into it, but maybe when I return, we can talk about what my old work entailed. Your strengths: insightful problem solving. Your intuitive nature allows you to find effective solutions by seeing overlooked connections. Dedication to meaning. You thrive when your work makes a genuine positive difference for others. Thoughtful communication. You express ideas clearly and empathetically, making colleagues feel understood. High ethical standards. You uphold strong moral values, ensuring your integrity informs every choice you make. I feel like that's pretty in line with the other result I got from the Undertale quiz. Creative perspective. You naturally approach tasks with creativity, bringing fresh energy to your role. I would say that is pretty true. Reliable follow-through. You plan your projects carefully and deliver on your promises, ensuring others trust you. Yeah, I try. Your weaknesses. Sensitive to negative feedback. Critical comments, even constructive ones, can feel overly personal and harsh to you. True. Discomfort with self-promotion. Promoting your accomplishments or networking to advance career goals can feel deeply awkward. Also very true. It feels weird. Like, I think there's a natural way to do so without coming off a certain way, but the problem is I haven't, at least in my opinion, I haven't successfully discovered what that is yet. So I feel like anytime I'm in a position that I could be trying to promote myself, I don't. And so, yeah, I don't think I give myself enough credit where I should. Your struggle to delegate. Your habit of handling tasks yourself leads to unnecessary stress and missed collaboration opportunities. Yeah. Avoiding routine tasks. You become very easily drained and unhappy when required to focus excessively on repetitive daily tasks. Yeah, I think I need to mix it up every now and then. I can only handle routine for so long. Like, I understand why it's necessary and why it can be good for you, but I get bored. Overlooking small wins. You focus on larger goals, or your focus on larger goals means you may neglect to appreciate progress made along the way. I was literally just saying that. It's especially going into, or like with streaming in general now, I feel like it's very, very important to be more excited about the small wins. Like, take every win. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, just celebrate every little step. And I think that should be something that should be applied to life too. And I'm saying this, but I am a hypocrite. I don't do this, so I'm just saying this is what ideally I should be doing. Just in general. It's not even just with streaming, but I feel like it's good to celebrate even the small wins. It's positive. It's good to see and enforce, you know, like, yeah, just be happy. Be happy with the progress that you make. And even if you feel stagnant, I'm sure there's something that you can celebrate. You got INFP! Wow! I had gotten INFP like a long time ago. And actually, I think the kitty, I don't know if the kitty is doing the quiz again, but she also said that she got INFP. Sup? Welcome. Hello. You have to investigate a crashing noise. Uh-oh. Hope everything's okay. No trouble to be had, hopefully. And the last weakness point says idealistic expectations. You may find yourself disappointed if your career or workplace doesn't completely align with your high standards. Yeah. We don't need to unlock the full results. I don't need that. Let's talk about your personal growth. 93% introverted. Wow. That's really strong. Which is interesting because I feel like the vibe I get from you Gone Puppy seems more extroverted. So I'm surprised. 93% introverted. But maybe that's because I've only ever interacted with you online and I haven't had a chance to meet you in person yet. Your journey of personal growth is deeply intertwined with your quest for authenticity and self-understanding. Yeah, I do like to reflect and think a lot about myself and a life. You have an innate drive to continually improve yourself and actualize your potential. This often involves deep introspection, exploring your complex emotions, and striving to align your actions with your core values. Your growth path may lead you to explore various philosophies, spiritual practices, or creative pursuits as you seek to understand yourself and your place in the world. Remember taking these tests a while ago? You got ENTP. Oh. Yeah, I was just saying how the last few times, or the very first time I took this quiz, which was years ago, I got ENFP. And then every other time I've taken the quiz after that, I've gotten introversion rather than extroversion, but everything else it's always shifted. It tends to shift. I don't think I've ever gotten consistently one specific result. Welcome back. Welcome back to Kitty. You feel like a flip-flop a lot between introvert and extrovert. Maybe you are also an ambivert like myself. A key challenge in your personal development is learning to balance your idealistic nature with practical realities. This might involve developing assertiveness skills to express your needs and set boundaries, or cultivating resilience to handle criticism and setbacks. Embracing imperfection and learning to value your unique gifts without constant comparison to others are also important steps on your path to self-acceptance and fulfillment. I'll keep that in mind. So your strengths. Reflective self-awareness. Your strong ability to reflect on your thoughts and feelings promotes personal insights and maturity. Inner courage. You bravely face difficult truths within yourself, improving self-understanding and nurturing authenticity. Deep imagination. Your powerful imagination inspires personal exploration, creativity, and innovation in your life. Openness to new ideas. Your curiosity and enthusiasm for deep theoretical concepts enrich your growth and worldview. Committed to improving. You eagerly embrace opportunities to become the best version of yourself, focusing on nurturing your strengths. Intuitive trust. You skillfully recognize when to trust your instincts, guiding your decisions effectively. Depends on what I eat for the day, I guess. Yeah, are we eating the introverted fruit or the extroverted fruit today? Your weakness. Self-doubt. Your habit of questioning your own abilities can hold you back from pursuing authentic opportunities. Unrealistic personal standards. Your idealistic nature can set a vision of personal excellence that is sometimes unattainable. Suppressing negative feelings. Your strong desire to maintain harmony may cause you to ignore or deny personal discomfort or dissatisfaction. Sensitive to imperfections. You can focus too intensely on your weaknesses, which may limit your self-confidence and progress. Overextending yourself. Your eagerness to grow and explore may lead to exhaustion if you don't set firm boundaries around self-care. And reluctant to seek support. Your independence and privacy can make it challenging to confide in others or ask for help when needed. Yeah, no need to just hit me on the head with that one. Your relationships. In your relationships, you seek deep, authentic connections that go beyond surface-level interactions. Your empathy and intuitive understanding of others make you a valued friend and partner, capable of offering profound insights and unwavering support. You have a gift for creating safe spaces where others feel comfortable sharing their true selves, and you derive great satisfaction from helping those close to you grow and flourish. However, your own need for privacy and tendency to keep your innermost thoughts and feelings hidden can sometimes create barriers in your relationships. You may struggle to open up fully, fearing vulnerability and misunderstanding. Finding a balance between your desire for deep connections and your need for independence and alone time is crucial for your relationship satisfaction. Learning to communicate your needs clearly and managing your idealistic expectations of others will help you build and maintain the meaningful, fulfilling relationships you crave. I'm keeping all of this in the back of my mind because so far, I mean, most people would say, oh yeah, that definitely sounds like me, right? Regardless of what results you get, because again, it's like everything is contextual. But you know, it's all for fun. But it, like, if it's resonating with you on a certain level, right? That's the reason why it's just like, oh yeah, like this is definitely me. Yeah, that's me for real, for real. Exactly. Right. Your strengths. Deeply empathetic. Your sensitive understanding creates strong emotional bonds where others feel fully accepted. Loyal commitment. You consistently choose to be supportive and trustworthy, making you an irreplaceable friend or partner. Encouraging growth. You naturally identify and encourage potential in others, enriching your relationships profoundly. Attentive listening. You excel at truly listening, allowing your relationships to flourish through genuine understanding. Gentle honesty. Your capacity to express the truth kindly helps maintain trust and openness in your interactions, and the ability to create intimacy. Your inclination for meaningful conversations leads relationships toward deeper emotional connections. Your weaknesses. Reluctant to open up. You tend to conceal your inner struggles, preventing others from fully understanding your emotional needs. Discomfort with casual interactions. Your preference for deeply meaningful connections can limit opportunities for new relationships. Sensitive to perceived criticism. Even subtle remarks from loved ones can easily hurt your feelings or leave you feeling misunderstood. High relationship expectations. You unintentionally set standards for closeness that may be difficult for others to meet. Conflict avoidance. Your unease with disagreements may lead you to ignore relationship issues that need open discussion. And neglecting your own needs. Your natural tendency to focus on others can lead you to ignore your own well-being within relationships. Unlock now! Everything about your type unlocked for $9. So advocates you may know. Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, Mother Teresa, Marie Kondo, Lady Gaga. Wow. Lady Gaga. Nicole Kidman, Morgan Freeman. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Jon Snow from Game of Thrones. James Wilson from House. Aragorn. Galadriel. Annoying. Yeah, I want to know what you got, the kitty. Tom Kirkman. Rose DeWitt. Buketer. Desmond Hume. Is that Aramis? Michael Scafield. Atticus Finch. And Matthew Murdoch. I like how all the comments extremely accurate. I'm sure that's what the comments say on every single result page. You were ISFP. Oh. They don't put any stock into their list of other advocates at all. Yeah. And yeah, exactly. Well, that was a good, fun little quiz. All right, what other quizzes we got? What other popular quizzes are going around right now, if any? So we can just leave this up. Just in case someone pulls out another quiz. But yeah, very interesting. So for anyone who's just tuning in, the last quiz I did was that Undertale Souls quiz, and I got Integrity. Oh, for the kitty, it's Keanu Reeves, William Shakespeare, Princess Diana, Audrey Hepburn, and Van Gogh. Yeah, interesting mix of characters here. Hello, Solatile. You got an ad about a zoo while lurking, and I thought it was a new. Time to add that to the list of things that I should do. I'm gonna start making fake ads for stream. Well, hello, Sola. How are you doing today? Good to see you. We were just talking, and then somehow the conversation started. It went into the quiz territory, so then I did the Undertale quiz, and now I just did the 16 personality quiz, because it's been a long time since I did it. For ENTP, one of the famous people for some reason is the devil. What the? The devil. Just the devil, you know? Does that mean that one of these personality types, there's a Jesus Christ or a God? Can you imagine? Oh, one of your another you know who else matches your personality? God. There is a Jesus listed. What in the world? The intro stream. Come to the Float Harbor Aquarium where you can visit our otter. Oh, thanks for the follow. Unfortunately, you are catching my last stream before I have to go on the hiatus for about 2 months-ish. But yeah, thank you for the follow. I hope yeah, you'll be able to tune in when I return from hiatus. And of course, like the one stream that I do to, like, you know, before hiatus, it's just when everything goes wrong with my tech. So normally I'm moving around and you get to see me be a silly little guy, but today I'm just a snapshot of a silly guy. Whoever gets God as their listed like familiar to your personality type, you can become mod. Did you know? I don't know if any of y'all remember. There was previously a chatter. I think they literally went by like God or Jesus Christ. And they came by like a couple streams. I haven't seen them in a long time. I hope God is alright. Good luck out there, wherever you are. Best of luck. Thank you, Sola. Yeah, I'm excited. It's been a long time coming, but I'm excited for the new opportunities to come. I think that was one of Twi's regulars. Yeah, they found me initially because we had done the what was it? That one game. It's something fiction. The multiplayer game. You guys know what I'm talking about. But we had been collabing, and then I think that's how they initially started to kind of like pop into my streams. God is an Aura username. It was very, very cool. because it was just like, you know, I've been doing a stream, I look over, who's in the chat? Oh, it's just God. And God is hyping me up. You take the quiz right now? Yeah! I want to know what you'll get. Sometimes things change. Exactly. Every time I have taken this quiz, I have got a different result, like every single time. Because I usually take it pretty far apart from itself. Split fiction, yes, thank you. It's probably them. No, I don't. It was because I remember seeing them in Twi's stream, so I don't think I don't think it could have been them. I just thought it was really funny because I remember yeah, that's right. This was like a while ago because I had a section in Rita's concert, Kamishiro Rita. She did a charity concert, and like I remember reading the chat while I was on her concert, and I saw God in there, and I'm like, what in the world? Or maybe was it the Christmas concert, Obaki Pam's concert? One of those. But it feels pretty cool to see God rooting for you in chat. Your birthday's in an hour. Oh my goodness. Happy birthday to Kitty. I hope it's a nice birthday. I hope the year treats you kindly and well. I appreciate you always tuning in and chatting. It's always good to see you. I like hearing about your whatever your current projects are, like how they're progressing in your OCs. You're not ready, but thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, I cannot wait to okay, so as I was saying before, you know, as I'm answering some of these questions, I'm just thinking in the context of the things I have experienced in the past 4-ish years or something like that, since getting my old job, which I'm no longer at. I think so. This is coming from someone who previously worked alone. I used to work from home. I was my own boss. I ran my own business as an artist. And then being forced to going from that job and being kind of like, you know, secluded to then having to interact with the general public and other people on a daily basis. You know, on one hand, I really enjoyed being able to work on my own schedule. I really enjoyed the personal satisfaction I got from working freelance. And then working my other job, you know, I liked the consistent pay. I liked being able to meet new people. It turns out I'm not as introverted as I once previously thought, or I always knew I had this inclination of like, I think I have a general pretty good idea of how I interact with other people, but it's weird to feel it or see it like kind of enforced or acknowledged by other people. It was very strange. So now that I have the opportunity to kind of return to doing my own things again, I'm hoping that I have a better idea of how to pace myself in a little more healthy way. Hoping that all those interpersonal skills that I learned while being at this previous job can transfer over. You know, not that I wasn't already like pretty good at interacting with people, but I feel like even more confident now, I should say. I guess that was the main thing. Like from being alone to then working a different, like a regular job, it built my confidence. It reinforced a lot of things I had kind of forgotten about myself. And yeah, so I feel like with the venture that I'm looking to take now, it's kind of very important that I understand myself better. And can, yeah, as this, you know, not that this quiz results aren't like something you should base your life on, but it hit the nail on the head with a lot of things that I've already been kind of thinking about in the background, so I guess that's why it kind of resonates more than usual. So yeah, I think the best description is like quiet confidence. You know, I definitely feel more self-assured in certain things, or I'm kind of reminded to, like, I should be more proud of my own accomplishments and what I can do, and use that kind of to my advantage. And that sounds very weird to say. Again, like I was saying, you know, I never really know how to self-promote myself where it's appropriate, but yeah, I think people can tell the difference between like blatant like self-promotion where it's not needed versus like where it's appropriate, I guess is the best way to put it. So hopefully that bears fruit in the right places where I'm hoping. You continue to yap about them when we have another just chatting. Yes, please do. I do want to hear what you're up to, especially, you know, while I'm gone. And then when I return, I'm sure you'll have done a lot of things in that time, probably. You know, it's only give or take a month and a half or 2 months of me being away, but in internet time, that's like 2 years. So much happens in that little time frame. Who knows what we'll all be doing in 2 months from now, what memes will spawn in 2 months. Yeah, exactly. You come up with entire universes in an afternoon. I'll come back and you'll be like, I finished a game. But that'd be pretty sick. It's nice knowing you, boss. No. No. They're locking me up. They're putting me in a cage. They're putting me in the carrier, and then I'm just gonna cry and yowl from the inside. And with any luck, some of the worst memes will die. My current meme that I'm enjoying right now is the Coco meme. Where it's like, if you've seen Coco, it's the scene where Miguel is about to play the song for his grandmother so she can remember her father, but the audio gets replaced with like something silly, and you know, it's her reacting to the music. So my favorite one of that, and the other thing that makes the meme funnier is like how low quality the how low quality the video is. So it's just like a 140p video of Miguel trying to play the guitar for his grandmother Coco. No, my favorite version of that is like it's a Kingdom Hearts one where he's like, I wanted to play this for you, and it's the Simple and Clean remix version. And she does the Utada Hikaru. The quality memes are the best ones, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, it's I don't think we've talked about Kingdom Hearts at all since all the news came out. First of all, rest in peace, Hayden. You were a wonderful Kairi. But also, like, other than, you know, ending the weekend on such sad news, all the other stuff about Kingdom Hearts is very exciting as a Kingdom Hearts fan myself. I wanted to play this for you. Oh my yahi. Yeah, it's a funny meme. Oh, you did? Well, I'm glad you could meet her before, yeah, her passing. She was a good actress. Gone too early for sure. But yeah, I don't know, I'm excited that there's a new Kingdom Hearts, but I'm also like, what'd they do to my boy? My sweet boy Sora. Where are his funky big shoes? Where is his smile? All his joy and his whimsy just sucked away. I need him to be cute and like with that very spiky hair. I think his Kingdom Hearts 1 design is obviously like the most iconic one, but I think my favorite is actually his Kingdom Hearts 2 design. I think Kingdom Hearts 2 in general is like Kingdom Hearts 1 does a really great job of being the first game, which is just like setting the tone and the characters and the story and whatnot. But I think the second game like really shines. It takes like all the good things of the first game and makes it better. Obviously, it's a sequel. They know they shrink his shoes. Sort of makes sense that he got less cartoony as he grew up. Yeah, but it's still sad. I need that glimmer. He should still have that soul. Like, I want to see that silly little guy. And you know, I finally found shoes that fit, but I like the chunky shoes. It's like that meme where it's like, oh, are you big jacket or are you big pant? In terms of character design, you know, you either got the big pants or the big jacket. For Sora, it was, I think he was big pants and big shoe. I'm hoping that as we get to the final act of the game, yeah, that's honestly what I don't even know how to, it's not quite a theory, but I had that same thought where I was like, oh, there must be, or there, I hope, you know, there's some point in the game where it's like, oh, he'll return to the like very Disney-ified design somehow. Big jacket gang, let's go. TBH's family makes shoes. Why would his shoes not fit? Yeah, exactly. It's the power of friendship. It's stored in the shoes. That's why they're so big. I think I was just having this conversation today with a friend who's also a big Kingdom Hearts fan, but I think they agree with me on the fact that I think 2 made the worlds feel not too small but also not very big, because I think the last 2 Kingdom Hearts games suffered from making areas way too big and kind of empty, and it's like very weird. I mean, unless that was intended, but even then it's just kind of like, I don't like it. And at the same time, I also don't enjoy running back and forth through the same little room of cubes in Kingdom Hearts 1. Looking at Alice in Wonderland and Tarzan and Monstro. The first time I ever ran or did the Monstro stage, I was like, I was getting to the point of tears. I was getting so frustrated trying to figure it out without a guide. Because I wanted to just, you know, do it as much as I could. But it was just like pissing me off. Also, you know, people may disagree with me, but I really liked the playing the Little Mermaid stage in Kingdom Hearts 2. And maybe I've only played a little bit of the Kingdom Hearts rhythm game. Was it Melody of Memory or whatever it is. That game is pretty fun. But I like rhythm games, so, you know. Run around and do random stuff. Games are my fave. That's why I still have IKBC even though I beat it. Yeah, I also like games that don't really pressure you too much, and you just kind of explore. I mean, I feel like it's funny because I think a lot of games like Kingdom Hearts are kind of hoping that you'll just go and do that, but I feel like a lot of the times in a narrative-driven game, I typically tend to just hyper-focus on the main point of the game, which is to understand the narrative. So I don't often tend to go off the path, the intended path. But some games are designed in a way that it feels a little more natural to do that. But I don't know if I'm good at really putting together the words of how some games can do that better than others. Also why I love live service games, so I can just keep playing forever. Yeah. I mean, it's like, I think the downside to that is obviously like, well, maybe not a downside. Maybe it's just more of a issue of like, they start to run out of ideas and content after a certain point. And maybe that issue comes from like not making enough content prior, like a build-up. You got INFPA. Let's go. Another introverted person in our community. Is that would you say that is a consistent result to what you've gotten in the past, or is this something new for you? But yeah, I think for some games, like when they don't build up enough content and then eventually either not enough people are playing, or they just, again, no good management or running out of funds or whatever the reason may be, feels kind of sad, versus like a game that is just kind of built in a single little package and then that's it. That's just it. You're not getting anything else from the game. Maybe a little bit, maybe like one DLC or like one added content after like a year. But I think I kind of prefer games to just be, just a one and done deal. I will experience it in its full, and that's it. It'll be that one experience, and I can think about it forever. It is pretty consistent. The percentages fluctuate only a little bit, but I think I was a T at some point too. Very nice. It depends on the opening for me, though I have noticed my Wanderlust has really taken off this year. Started playing Dusk Diver, and I wanted to explore the city, but the plot kept yelling at me. Yeah, I would agree. It definitely depends on the game and how it presents itself to you. So I really want Tomodachi Life. It seems like I never run out of things to do or things to make. You know, I love Tomodachi Life, and I have been having fun playing it, but it's, I guess, you know, it's been a long time since I played the one on the DS, so it's hard to compare it to the one on the Switch right now, like, accurately. But I found that I've already kind of hit a block with Tomodachi Life. Like, I still like it, and I still like to go in and check in on my Miis every now and then, but in terms of, like, what they get up to, I feel it's been it's already gotten a little bit repetitive. And again, I can't accurately say I felt the same when playing the Tomodachi Life on the DS or the 3DS. But in my memory, I feel like I got a lot more I got a lot more playtime out of it. But who knows, I'm sure I had also run into a similar situation where, like, I just ran out of things to do after a certain point. But maybe it's also just like, I just need to keep making more Miis, and really that will just add to the game, you know? Because right now, on both I have my personal file, and then I have one that I played on stream. So the personal file, I think I've kind of run out of people to add, and then on the one that I've done on stream, I'm still in the process of adding new people to the island. So yeah, returning to it after some time is like, I'm sure I'll get joy out of it again. Has anyone here played Hello Kitty Island Adventure? I have not, but I've had it in my wish list for a very long time. It easily toes the line between play to a point and put it down, or just keep playing it forever. I haven't played Hello Kitty Adventure because of the cost. Wasn't it just on sale recently? I think I remember getting a Steam email being like, Hello Kitty Adventure is on sale right now! Go get it! And I only watched like a teeny bit of someone playing it on stream. I didn't want to spoil myself on Hello Kitty Adventure of all games, but yeah, it looks like a game that I would enjoy. Yeah, who knows at what point I would be at, if whether I'd play to a point or just keep playing forever. I feel like it could be both. It does look fun though. It, you know, I keep bringing this up because I do want to get back into it, but I just have not. Animal Crossing, because I have not played Animal Crossing, and I've said this 100 times, since they had started adding some like DLC stuff or like free content. So there's a lot of stuff I have not seen from Animal Crossing yet, and I should really get back into it. But, you know, the time and the place has not called for it yet. Son! Hello, Leah. How are you? Calico, that's me. Sorry, I'm PNG today. Everything is falling apart. Yeah, I know you guys kind of, most of you that are here right now tuned in kind of a bit later, but earlier when stream started, I was talking about how, like, I was setting up for stream, and then 10 minutes in to, like, before I was supposed to go live, I moved my Cintiq monitor, and everything else kind of shifted, and then suddenly my USB was not working anymore. And at that point, as I'm trying to troubleshoot it, it's getting, you know, closer to going live time, and I was like, I'm not willing to reset my computer for this in an attempt to fix it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then also at one point my main monitor went, like, it turned black for like a split second and turned back on, and I just like hadn't touched anything. So I was like, I mean, it's at least all I'm doing today is like nothing too PC heavy. We're literally just chatting and streaming, and now my USB is not even working, so we're not even gonna have VTube Studio. So PC, you can hold yourself together, even if it's just like with glue and tape. Yeah, but I think, you know, it has its positives. I feel like, in this manner, I'm not overly conscious of, like, my movements on stream. I'm just kind of, like, able to just talk and just kind of relax in that way. Which is funny, because even though I say that, like, earlier when I was taking the quiz, and I was answering the questions and kind of like talking, I was like nodding and shaking my head at things, realizing like, oh, that like that's not registering on VTube Studio anyways, it's not even open. Hope packing went smoothly. It's been pretty smooth actually. Surprisingly, I am glad that I took the time that I needed to pack, because it allowed me to not feel like I was super rushed. You still emote when you're a PNG tuber? Yeah, exactly. It's just kind of after what, like three years of doing this, it's kind of ingrained in me now. Let's see. Yeah, Hello Kitty Island Adventure goes on sale a lot. You put it this way, I've been playing it for nearly a year, and without absolutely none of the DLCs, I am still not bored of it. That's a pretty solid review. That kind of entices me to pick it up more now, if it goes on sale again, if it's not currently on sale. Obviously, I have to be a little more mindful of my spending habits right now, but I will keep in mind, you know, a sale is a sale. And I cannot keep my paws off a good sale. Like, it's been a while, but the last time, or this was several years ago, there was a Steam like Christmas sale, and I just went and kind of crazy. Save your dollars, game isn't going away. Yes, it better not. Sanrio, I'm looking at you. Please don't go away. Actually, speaking of Sanrio, you reminded me. There was so I think it was a Japanese only. So there's this website, I believe, called Carafolio, and I don't know if they're like if it's just specifically a Sanrio thing, or just like some kind of online Japanese like portfolio type site, but Sanrio did like a contest recently, where they were asking people to submit like their own characters that they would want to see become like a Sanrio character. You know, I don't know to what degree, because everything was in Japanese, but from the translations I was reading, that was kind of like the gist of what I understood what was happening. And there is this artist I follow. I can't remember their name off the top of my head, but the character they submitted, I was like, that is so me. If they win, I would 100% like go out of my way to try to buy all the Sanrio merch of this character, because it was literally the concept is, imagine a sea otter, but now imagine a sea otter that's really buff, and their whole premise is like the sea otter, I think what the official name was is like the sea otter who does not tolerate evil. And so it's just like a sea otter who has a very strong like moral sense of justice, and they're just also really buff. But it's very cute. Like, it looks like you know, what you would imagine of how like a Sanrio character is drawn. It's like a very simplified art style. And I had my fingers crossed and was hoping that this person would win so I could get my hands on some buff otter merch. I don't know if they actually won, but I think they received like what's it called? Like they didn't win outright, but they got like a honorable mention. Actually, I'm wondering if I can pull up their Twitter. Let me hide the window real quick so I can try to find it on here, and then I can pull it up. Actually, I just recently liked one of their posts, so I'm sure I can find it. Oh, the artist is Sunaya Mako, and then yeah, here's the Twitter post. Okay, here, let me turn this back on. See, this is the, obviously it's, the tweet is translated, but Sanrio sponsored character contest. Otter who won't forgive evil received an honorable mention award. So they did not win, but look at it, he's so cute. He's just a buff otter. And look at him, he's they made a plushie of him. He's so big. I need him so bad. He's so cute. I wish he would have won. Yeah, otter that forgives no evil. And the artist had made like a couple comics of him. But yeah, back to the quiz. Yeah, he was a cutie. Birthday's coming up. If anyone close to you, ask what you want. Just ask for cash to get the things you want or need. So what is your preferred delivery method for money? You know what? I have not put up any official means of supporting the stream monetarily if you so choose. That's something I'm going to definitely look into when I return. So, you know, I'm not going anywhere. Game's not going anywhere. A birthday will come around again in a year. So, don't worry about it now. I'll figure something out. I don't have anything properly set up yet other than like Twitch subscriptions, which is, you know, I don't want you, don't subscribe because I'm gonna be going on hiatus. Wait until I return, and then I will have something figured out for you by then. So in like a month and a half to 2 months time. Yeah. That's the official answer. You gotta go soon so you can do stuff tomorrow to celebrate? Yeah, go get your rest. You have a birthday to celebrate. And then my actual birthday coming up in like 4-ish days. That's actually, you know what's crazy is like, I know I literally put it in the karaoke title. I was like, yeah, early birthday celebration. But yesterday I was like lying in bed, and then, you know, the clock strikes midnight. It's August 20th. And I was like, oh my god, my birthday's in like 4 days. I've been so busy and just thinking about the things that I have to do. I didn't even like process my birthday's actually coming up. Even though everyone's been asking me like what I want to do and all that, I'm just kind of like, yeah, what are we doing this for again? I am merely just a husk going through the day-to-day right now. Okay, go says subscribe now. 10 billion subscription. You will get me a Hello Kitty. Ooh. Put my fingies together. Oh, Kiko want to give me Hello Kitty. You stay on stream until you doze off. That's sounds good. I'm gonna be ending stream soon in like 15 minutes anyways, ish. So the stream will end soon. It's almost time to go, unfortunately. But yeah, pretty much as soon as we're done here, then I can officially start like unplugging things and kind of trying to organize a little bit neatly how things will be packed away in terms of my main tech setup. What the gun, puppy? You crazy. Aw. Thank you so much for the gift subs. Holy moly. Yeah, thank you for gifting subs to Leah and Sola and Yellow Muster and Chozo, who was here earlier, and Twy. Wow. Did you actually choose those people, or was it random? That's kind of crazy. Thank you, thank you. It's very sweet of you. Keiko says so. Keiko, what are you doing? I'm gonna go on hiatus. Oh, no, you did not. You crazy. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Yeah, I have a lot of things on the back of my mind, the back burner. What's gonna be coming for my future streams? What's to come? Very exciting to think about. I have a lot planned. And stuff I'm looking into. Yeah, I mean, I guess without, like, spoiling things too much, I want to try to integrate more of, like, Twitch's features into stream a bit. Like, I know I started as a YouTube streamer initially because I was like, oh, Twitch kind of scares me sometimes. But, you know, if I'm gonna be streaming on Twitch, I might as well make use and take advantage of, like, the things that I can do. And I look at, like, you know, Aros, our good friend Aros. I look at Jams, and I look at Shindigs. A lot of very creative streamers out there doing stuff with Twitch integration, and I think I would like to explore that avenue a little bit more. So that'd be exciting. I've been trying to, you know, because initially I feel like when I started streaming, I was kind of like, these are just kind of the bare bones ideas that I have about how I imagine my stream. But now I'm kind of looking for ways to kind of expand upon that a bit more. Bald Ross, no. Leave him alone, he's just a little guy. He's simply a little guy who wouldn't let me raid him on Tuesday. He hates us. It's, yeah. They, yeah, just got a lot going on in the next couple days. You'll be a busy otter. Busy, busy, busy. But then, when it's all said and done, blocked Ross. A Ross. I haven't had a chance to tune in to his streams. I hope he's been doing well. That's penguin pal of mine. Oh, speaking of, I just got a notification from his Discord of his stream. He always streams when I'm sleeping. I miss him. Aww. Shaking him. Well, it seems like this time slot is like pretty consistent for him. I don't think he's ever gone off from doing like generally pretty late streams. In fact, I can't recall if I remember seeing him stream during the day, except maybe when he's like in a completely different. No, that's not true. I feel like even when he was traveling, he still streamed at the same time. Day planning is hard. I agree. Ooh, hick. Sola says, thank you, Gone Puppy. I mean, I don't know if this applies to Oh, okay, yeah. Hype chest on the way. So I opened one and it said I got a button mashing emote. Speaking of hype chests, it reminds me, you know, it's been a long time since I played Fortnite, but I saw Kingdom Hearts is gonna come out, if it's not already out, on Fortnite, and Sonic's already out, and I'm kind of like, Fortnite kind of giving me the eye from the other side of the room. Might just have to download it again. Yeah, I had specifically planned time, outside of like just trying to get comfy in my new space. I had specifically planned like a time period where I could just do nothing after having worked for a very long time. So I am very excited to have some time to just kind of be a little otter potato. I can get some gaming in. Oh, are these your birthday plans, the kitty? Getting coffee, looking at a park view, afternoon, evening, out to eat at night, fall asleep with a movie? That sounds very comfy. I like that. Thought you say would be the thing that got me to start Fortnite, and somehow controlled myself. Me too! I was like, that's really cool, but at that point in time, I had already been kind of off Fortnite for a bit, so unfortunately it was not for me. Not enough. Yeah, always good to have time just for you. Yeah, that's something I feel like I've kind of been microdosing in between the regular work week, as most people do. But yeah, been a while since I had like a long streak of time, like longer than a week. Hololive Dreams got you back into gacha? Same, bro. I haven't had enough gems because I'm free to play. I haven't had enough gems to pull for this recent banner. But I would say in the few times that I have pulled so far, I've been pretty lucky. I've been getting like at least 1 5-star almost every single time, and I can back that up with screenshot proof too. And I've actually pulled 2 5-stars on like multiple occasions, as crazy as that sounds. They're really trying to be like, look, this is your luck right now as a free-to-play player. Imagine if you gave us some money and then you can roll to your heart's content, Imagine what you'd get then. I think gacha has never had like a strong hook on me, just because I'm generally pretty happy with whatever I pull, or even if I'm not like super happy with the results, I don't dwell on it as much. I just kind of move on pretty quickly. You cry? No. You pulled 10 pulls and you still haven't gotten the new Mori? No. I want, out of the current banner, Ollie or Ina. They're both very cute. But yeah, I think maybe that's why, if I were to ever do like a blind box unboxing stream ever in the future, it wouldn't be very, I don't know how entertaining it would be, because I'd just be like, yeah, I want this one, but this one's pretty cool, or I'd be okay with this one, and then I get something that I totally don't want, unless it was just like absolutely like I would not know what to do with this. Now it's just junk. Like, I don't think I've ever been sorely disappointed with whatever I get from a blind box. Actually, if I had to think and reflect on my general luck when it comes to blind boxes, I would say I've been pretty lucky. Like, The one specific example I can give is there was this Sanrio blind box where they were little figures of the characters, like as little angels. So you tie a ribbon to them and they hang from the display, so it looks like they're kind of flying. So there was different characters, different Sanrio characters, but you know, they all are different. And I bought 3 boxes because I was like, okay, I know I have a friend who would be really happy with this one specific character or this character, or I know some, like, in my mind, a blind box is like, if you don't get the result you want, it's a nice little gift that you can give to somebody else if they are like, you know, if it's a character or something that they would enjoy. So in my mind I was like, I'm gonna get 3 boxes and I'm putting all my luck into this. I want to at least get this one character for my friend, and if I happen to get this other character, it'll go to another friend, and then if I get this character, it'll be for me, because this is like my favorite character. I opened the first box, I got the exact one that I wanted to give to my friend. I opened the second box, so, you know, I'm already in a good spot, like I got what I wanted. So I opened the second box, I got the other character from the other friend who I knew would love this. So I was like, wow, now they can be matchies and everybody will be happy. So then whatever's in this third box is like, you know, someone might get a second one, or maybe it'll go to someone else, or it'll just be for me. I opened the third box, it's the one that I wanted for myself. So I got everybody's pick, and so now we all have these matching figurines. Yeah, it worked out in my favor, but since then I don't think I've had as much luck like that. What the hell is your luck? I think it's the gacha. It can smell when you want it. It knows you're desperate. It doesn't give you what you want. When you act like kind of nonchalant, you're like, I'd be happy with whatever. You end up getting what you want generally. You kind of just have to, like, yeah, you play it cool. It's time to go to Vegas or buy a lottery ticket. Mama Pascal once told me when I was a kid, and I thought she was just like, you know, this is something any parent would say to their kid, that she was like, oh, you're my lucky charm. But it seems like whenever I happen to be around, like, my mom, like, things tend to go in her favor for some reason. So she's called me her lucky charm. Maybe acting nonchalant, but I still want things. Yeah, exactly. You turn your head away, you close your eyes, and you cross your arms. You're like, yeah, like, it's whatever, and then you, like, peek over. Like, but however, pretending not to care so game loads faster. Yeah, exactly. Me buying like 10 Transformers blockies, blind boxes, and no duplicates, but also no sound wave. See, at least you didn't get the duplicates. That is, I can't remember a time that I've pulled a blind box and have gotten 2 of the same thing. I usually at least get different things. I also fully believe in, like, when you're looking at blind boxes, just grabbing the one that really draws you in, whatever you feel like. You have to believe in the aura of the box. No, gun puppy. No. Alright. We got like 2 minutes left. Let me close the window capture here. We're gonna see who's on Twitch. Who can we raid? I know Eros is live, but apparently I can't raid into him, so unfortunately no Calico raid for Mr. Eros. Unless there was a specific reason why you had it off. Anyways, let's see who else is live. Again, thank you so much for joining me today. Wait, there's a music category on Twitch? I've been using just chatting for my karaoke's like this whole time. What in the world? Okay, well, that is something I can keep in mind for next time. Oopsies. Send you nozzles, a smooth transition, and lots of rest. Thank you to Kitty. Oh no. Try it again? You saying I should try reading Eros again? Well, let me see. Who else is live? Yeah, I don't really see... We have a couple people we could raid. Okay, we try reading Eros again. Let's see, it's raid. For our last stream before hiatus, we will raid someone that we are familiar with. We're going to raid into Eros. We talked about it very lightly, but I should hit him up again about like, hey, about that collab we spoke about like months ago. Yeah, maybe we can actually plan something. Oh, okay, it worked. Yay! The raid has been created. Okay, guys. Go say hello to Eros. Thanks again for joining me tonight. I wish you all well. A happy birthday to Kitty. Have a good night, everybody, or good day, whatever time it is for you. I'll see you all when I return from my hiatus. I mean, I'm still gonna try to be active on my social media, so if you're not already, feel free to follow me on Twitch or Blue Sky. Maybe during the period I'll try to be active on Instagram. I make no promises, but yeah. Or if you're not already following me here and you want to know when I will come back and be live, yeah, feel free to follow me on my YouTube and Twitch. Yeah, have a good one, everybody. Until next time, I'll see you all later. Insta. Yeah, we be on those Instagram reels. Goodbye.